How's it going, friends? Champions from all over the world. Welcome back to my channel. As you see, I'm back in Brimstone Path, as a lot of y'all should be. The other day, I had a very productive conversation with my coworker Frostbite from Game Leap. Check out his channel. He's brand new. He has a lot to teach us all. So I had a conversation with him. I really desperately needed someone to crack the code as to why I still suck, why I can't get a lot done in the game, why things seem to be moving so goddamn slow. There must be something wrong with what I'm doing, right? There is a lot of wrong with what I'm doing, but it all stems from one single problem. And today I will show you what my problem is, and we'll come up with some strategies on how to minimize this issue. I know a lot of y'all struggle with the same thing. It's a very normal thing, so stick with me and we'll get real in just about a second. Don't forget to use my promo link to get yourself a free legendary Rafma tab, as well as the epics Tagore, Ugo, and Lady Quillen as you level up. Here's how to do it. Log out of Plarium Play on PC and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. And that is all you have to do to get your free legendary Rafma tab, as well as Tagore, Ugo, and Lady Quillen as you level up in progress. So don't miss out and click on my link right now. I know you've heard the term level 50 syndrome. That is a well-known term. It is when we're stuck with a bunch of level 50s, not a lot of level 60s on our account. And this does usually happen around level 50, level 60 for people's accounts. Funnily enough, the fact that our gear inventory usually looks like this, and a lot of that. And if you don't see anything wrong with this, I'll open your eyes in just about a second. But I'm sure that the more experienced players and the players that have played the game and games of the same genres know about, and they can sense it and see it immediately, they'll catch it. And builds like this, and etc, etc, etc. The main problem with my account, and with a lot of accounts that are hard stuck, is that we have a very hard time managing our resources. Now we're talking about purely streamlining the playing journey. Streamlining everything you do and the way that you manage your resources so that you don't have such a hard time. Now, number one, there is a right and a wrong time to use your resources. We talked about shards and pulling outside of a 2x, or progressives. We've talked about a lot of things. But I'm a hypocrite. I'm an absolute hypocrite, and I'll tell you why. The first thing that we talked about with Frostbite was food chickens, and I told him, man, it's so exhausting and it's very annoying whenever I have to farm for chickens and make chicken champions. And he says, yeah, you gotta make them all the time. I'm like, what? You make these all the time? And he said, yes, you make food champions every day. I'm like, what do you mean? Can you? And he asked me, how's your campaign farming going? And I proudly showed off my Thor. Here's Thor. This is what I do. He's like, okay, yes, this is very nice. Given that we could have used someone like, what was his name? Hellfang? Fellhound. I mix them up all the time. We're talking about Fellhound here. But he's a void, right? So Thor is the second best option. Okay, good. Can you solo dungeons? And I'm like, oh shoot. I don't think I have a single solo champion that I can use in my teams. Dragon maybe only? Who, Thor? I just get Thor and a bunch of food champions? I've never attempted that. But that is a very good way to make food champions all the time, regardless of which dungeon you have to farm for an event. 2 birds, 1 stone, 3 birds, 1 stone kind of thing, right? But the problem is that I don't have any of those. However, I have been giving tips on the Guardian Ring without utilizing the Guardian Ring. This is where I'm the biggest hypocrite in the world. I made so many guides on how you can chuck your Guardian Ring with chickens, with food, and in a couple of weeks you have 5-star chickens without even doing anything. You just have to press a button. Given that you have to put a few XP brews into the champions that you're taking down the Guardian Ring so they can all start at the same level, and they don't all start at level 1, because then you have to go back and press the button every 15 minutes. You don't want that. You want to bring them up to like a level 20 or something. Like 3 brews, 4 is more than enough. And you do this during champion trainings. See, there's a lot of little pieces of the puzzle here. You know what I did? For the longest time, I just chucked the champions that are not entirely ready for Minotaur yet to get a few levels, and then when I get to like level 40 something, I would take them off, and then I would run them through Minotaur. I would upgrade them to level 60 when I get to it, and then I would continue running them in Minotaur, and it would take me friggin' ages. Now the Guardian Ring has 3 chicken champions. These 3 I started working on simultaneously. Didn't really want to put another one in here. I'm not sure what rarity these are. I'm sure there are still 3 stars. And there's a Truath here and a Yakarl here getting tiny little levels. I will probably stop once they both hit level 35. And I will replace them with some other food champions. I'll try to match them with the ones that I have here. And this is a question for the endgamers. Is it worth upgrading all these slots? At any point, I'm not talking about now. But say I decide to skip a fusion, like I'm kind of deciding to skip a fusion now. But is it worth to ever upgrade these? I've heard very mixed feelings about it. I've heard people both say go for it. Honestly, it's a good difference. And then I've heard also people say, I regretted it when I did it. You don't have to. So I guess it's entirely a personal preference, but I think I'll go ahead and I'll upgrade these for a bit faster progress. But this is what I was doing during champion trainings. Because I hadn't streamlined my food making process, I definitely was not making food every day, okay? And I relied on chickens when push came to shove. When there was champion training and I was participating in fusions, I would just use my chickens. But something in my mind has clicked. The chickens are very much like a can of beans, a canned one, tin can. You use it as a last resort when you're starving, but you would like to meal prep in advance so you don't get to the starving point, right? Chicken are for rainy days. And if I just make the conscious effort to create chickens, make food champions for like 30 minutes a day, I would save up on 2/3 of my chicken usage throughout the day. Now I know that a lot of people are using our cell helper. It's an auto clicker. Lets you actually farm for food without sitting in front of your PC, because there is a little bit of back and forth given once your champions hit the maximum amount of levels that you can earn per rank. You have to go in the tavern, level them up, yada yada yada. But with the RCell helper, this you don't need to do physically. You can just let the computer do its thing. Switch out your food champions once they hit max level, and then you just go in the tavern and you do it yourself. That way, you do save up on a lot of time. But I've noticed and I've figured, and I watch the videos where I specifically do this. Whenever I go to campaign, specifically to farm for food champions and to bring, let's say, champions from rank 3 to rank 5, so I can use them as 5-star chickens, it genuinely takes me less than 30 minutes. But again, I don't like to do this outside of a champion training, and the champion training that we had currently just ended, and it wasn't really linked to any fusion. You could earn Gracchus's perfect soul. The guy in first spot really grinded for this Gracchus soul. So, champion training, you go hard during CBCs and during champion training events. But that is not to say that I should not make food every day. Making food is different from leveling up food. I can literally just prepare it the way that I have now. Let me show you what I was doing in the beginning. Just bring him up to level 30, rank 3. And then wait for champion training, wait for the right time to level them up, and then continue doing as I do. And, on another hand, I had to clean through my vaults and my inventory and really pick out which epics I'm gonna use, which epics I'm not gonna use, and I do have to start using some of them as chickens. Because you're thinking an epic must be slightly better than a rare. Not always. It's not always the case. Sometimes rares are better than epics, and sometimes epics are god tier by themselves. Like Geo, like Ugo, like Doom Priest. There's staples here. There's staples that you should never get rid of. But there's also champions that you will never use. And let's not become hoarders in this case. Just use whoever champion you're absolutely sure you're never gonna use, you're never gonna need. Don't let people guilt trip you or shame you into using certain champions for chickens. Unless they're really good and you need the wake-up call. And you did a mistake, but in many cases, you're not making a mistake. You're just cleaning up some space. Same thing for the rares. You're gonna get so many rare champions, so many of them throughout your raid journey, and you're hardly gonna need all of them. So feel free to use these as chickens as well. Use these as your food champions to make food champions, just so you can skip a couple of leveling ups from uncommons to rares. What I mean, from rank 2 to rank 3, from rank 3 to rank 4. That is shortcuts. Those are shortcuts. So here's some streamlining tips that might help with creating food specifically and with leveling up champions. As for brews and chickens, the best ways to get these are Doom Tower Hard. 100% Doom Tower Hard is going to give you some good chickens, 4-star chickens, and it's going to give you some other resources. The more you can explore, the more juicy rewards await for you, both normal and hard. Now, you can't really, you know, fully control where you can progress or not, because we're talking about sometimes you can't control the rotations and the kind of champions you have to use, whether they're only HP defense, whether they're only barbarians and orcs and yada yada. But normal, please try to diligently clear these stages until you can. You don't need energy for these, and the more regularly you do them, the more resources you're gonna earn. The second thing that I need to streamline on my own account, and a lot of you might need to streamline on theirs as well, is the way that we pull shards. Now, I know that a lot of content creators, we talk about the 2x's, chance of 2x's, the only time really to pull shards. I'll add another perspective to this. I'll add a point. Specifically for ancient shards. You've seen the mercy system, right? You know how it works. You have to pull a lot of ancients to start increasing your chance of hitting a legendary or an epic, and it's tiny little percentages. That's the mercy system that we talk about, right? 200 ancient shards before you start racking up mercy percentage. So for these ancient shards, I would even go as far as to say, unless you're very early game and you have desperate need of champions, leave your ancient shard stash for fusions. Leave them for fusions. I would even go as far as to say that applies to all shards. Unless you're endgame and you really want this one particular special champion, progressives should not concern you. 2x's should not be tempting you. At the point of the journey that my account is in right now, I'm very mid-game. Very mid-game. Yes, I could benefit from some champions, but also I have the main types of champions, some main builds that are in many cases applicable almost everywhere. I have an arena build, I have a clan boss and killable, I have a chimera, and I have a hydra team, I have the dungeon teams, I have all the dungeons down to hard, I'm starting to build teams for hard now, and in this case, yes, I might need 1 or 2 or 3 champions to do a certain role, to fill a certain need, but it doesn't need to be a legendary. It just as well can be a really good epic that I'll be able to build up faster, cheaper, and I'll get to make content about it and tell you guys that this epic actually performs really well. You get what I'm trying to say. Legendaries are hard to build out. They're resource heavy. Some of them require so many books, and you know how rare of an occurrence a legendary skill tome is nowadays. So, my piece of advice is if you're a mid-gamer, and if you have some main teams, you're happy with the kind of champions that you've pulled on your account, bring the pulling to a minimum and try to do it during fusions you know that you'll be participating in. Guaranteed champion events like hero paths, etc. These sometimes can be a clutch, like Balar was one on a previous hero's path. It was very expensive to get Balar, so you needed to pull a lot of shards, not just ancients but also sacreds, and dip down in other resources as well. Drain all of your mystery shards, which is what they're for, by the way. But champion chases, summon rushes, etc. The fusions are worth it. The good fusions. All the other ones outside of the fusions, they might give you more grief than anything else. The point is to save up on as much as you can. Especially if you can't raid Ultra Nightmare, Demon Lord, or if you're having a hard time spacing out your keys and you don't have a reliable way of obtaining a lot of ancient shards a month or a lot of sacreds per month. Because sacreds is mostly where these legendaries are gonna clutch for you. And again, I have a lot of guides on where to get shards from. You can check them out on my channel if you manage to find them in the vomit of videos that I've posted. And there is a third very important aspect of this game that we have to start streamlining a little bit better. Me personally, I don't want to put words in your mouth. But gear, guys. Gear needs to be so meticulously worked on. And again, right time, right place. Otherwise, you'll be stuck at 5 million forever. And I finally managed to get out of my debt situation, and I was really struggling financially, is what I'm saying, until very recently. Until I started employing some very simple streamlining strategies to get a little bit more cash, to keep better gear, etc. Now let's start with the fact that sorting through gear takes time to learn. And this is not a great example of a build, so I'll switch to Thor. It takes physical time to learn what acceptable gear is and what isn't, and it also very much depends on where your account is. If you can, let's say, raid stage 20 in most dungeons, and you're farming for some Merciless and Supersonic in Curse City, you can forget about 4-star pieces, and you can even start looking down on 5-star pieces a little bit. If it's a rare piece, it better have speed, and it better have at least one roll in it. We don't need a lot of rare gear unless you're going for a very specific speed tune like I have here. This Helicath is very specifically tuned to be in my unkillable clan boss. I have to have him at exactly 244 or 46 speed or in between, and I cannot afford a lot of rolls in speed. So I have him in 3 rare pieces, 3 epic pieces, 1 rare ring, 1 rare banner, and 1 epic amulet. Given that they're all of the speed set, that gives us a good amount of speed up. It limits the amount of rolls that you will get on these pieces. As you can see, this helmet got a double speed roll. This weapon did not get one at all, and I'm pretty sure that this weapon I've changed and I've looked for in particular. This is why I was hoping for it not to roll in the speed, so I can fine-tune it with some glyphs. 1 speed roll here, 1 speed roll here. Speed boots, of course. No speed rolls in the shield. No speed rolls in the banners either. And yet again, 244 speed. I built this Helicath very early into my account. Mind you, this is one of the first champions that I ever built, period. But I rebuilt them a couple of times so he can fit in my unkillable clan boss team with the gear that I had at the time. This was at the time my best gear. But as you can see now, this has changed. I want you to take a look at my speed. Okay, the artifacts that I've kept. I've leveled up the shield. Double speed roll, 1 roll in the accuracy with a little bit of flat HP and some crit damage. This we might use on a speed champ. We're gonna ignore the crit damage. Maybe the accuracy will be needed, but the double speed roll is the least that this shield can do to stay in my inventory as a 5-star piecer. Now, are you noticing what's wrong with this? BB, where are all your leveled 4s and 8s? Why aren't you rolling up your gear? I will explain to you why I haven't done it so far. Because I don't think that it doesn't cost much to roll up gear to level 4 or to level 8. And how I go about this usually, I will, let's say, roll this gear, this piece of helmet. Important, very important disclaimer. Doing this during artifact enhancements, gear enhancement events, and only then. Otherwise, it's a waste of money. But now I'll do it outside of an event just to show you how I will go about deciding whether to keep this helmet or not. I will roll it once to level 4. See if it falls into speed. Come on. Speed! I will roll it one more time to see if it's gonna fall into speed again. Speed! Wonderful! And now we have a double speed roll on this helmet, a little bit of crit damage. This helmet will be used, maybe will be rolled further. The roll to level 12 is going to reveal another substat, and the roll to level 16 is also going to reveal another substat. But just the fact that this has a double speed roll on it makes me want to keep it. Let's see if I can give another example with a little bit of a higher piece of equipment. I have a lot of equipment here that doesn't have any speed on it, see? This helmet, what is it doing here? But let's say we have this weapon. I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Upgrade to level 4, see, does it fall into speed? F yeah, it does. Upgrade to level 8, see if it falls into speed again. Boop! 1 in the resistance. Now I'm less likely to keep this artifact. I will again leave it for when I do a gear cleanse, which is nearing. The point is, while you have the gear enhancement active, you should go through your gear, roll the ones that you're unsure of, whether you'll be keeping or not, the rolls. You decide what you're looking out for. For speed, of course, you're going to be looking for speed. For sets like perception, you're going to be looking for accuracy and speed. Look at all that I have to sort through. For supersonic, you're going to look for speed. Slayer, merciless, the damage dealing sets, you're going to be looking for rolls into crit rate, crit damage. But these things take time. Learning what is acceptable gear, tightening the grip around what is acceptable gear does take time. It does take progression. It takes a little bit of trial and error. But that is the cool thing about dungeons. And the cool thing about raiding Curse City is that you'll get so many gear drops, you'll get so many variations of numbers, that it's no biggie if you accidentally sell something that you actually wanted to keep. The bigger mistake that you can make is rolling gear pointlessly. Rolling 4-star pieces, glyphing 4-star pieces, rolling outside of gear enhancements, and rolling pieces that don't outright satisfy you with the first couple of rolls. It's a gamble. Don't gamble. Don't gamble your money away. You know how hard it is to make them and how long it takes. And optimally, how this process looks is you wait for gear enhancement to roll in. You start rolling your pieces. If you have a champion that you're building out currently and you haven't fully maxed out their gear, you want to prepare that gear a little bit ahead of time as well. Let's see if I can find one of these champions. This Venomage needs a helmet. I switched it so that I can make my Arbiter a little bit faster. It is a random cruel helmet, but it had a triple speed roll and I glyphed it. And I put it on my Arbiter, and now she's a little bit faster. Now he's at the speed of which I can try him in my clan boss team. Actually, I didn't finish my point. Let me finish my point. If you have gear like this sitting at level 12, during gear enhancements, oh my god, I have better ones now. Oh! Anyway, I'm getting distracted. When you have gear like this sitting at level 12, you know for a fact that you want to keep it on your champion. You're gonna take it up to level 15. One by one, you're gonna prepare it for the gear enhancement event, especially if that gear enhancement coincides with a fusion. You're gonna wait, and then you're gonna go ahead and upgrade only one time when the gear enhancement is live. Just take the artifact from level 15 to level 16. That's gonna cost you 80% less money just for that one upgrade, and that's where you get the big points for gear enhancement. And you don't end up broke after the event. Honestly, with everything else, it's just consistency. My boss told me it's very much like going to the gym. I agree with him. You show up even on days where you don't feel like it. You give it your all with whatever time you have. Of course you do your best. But you don't do 5,000 exercises at once, do you? You do it one after the other. You have a leg day, and then you have an arm day, and then you have an upper body day. And if you do legs one after the other, you'll break your legs. And you'll get burnt out on it. And you'll be less strong. And less durable. And you'll have less stamina. The metaphor is order your gameplay. Raid is not a simple game. It might look like one. It's very easy to underestimate it. And as I personally had a lot of problems, and I still do, with streamlining my playing journey, it is what makes or breaks an account at the end of the day, in the long run. Yes, a part of it is luck. A part of it is getting the champions that will allow you to farm these certain dungeons, Curse City, and everything this game is about. But on another hand, it's knowing exactly how to manage your resources, how to not go overboard, how to not do useless things. And yes, and I've realized, and I know this is... I'll contradict myself once again, but what are human beings if not made to change? And I change my mind, I do change my opinion, and I will admit it. This is an efficiency game. This is not a game that you can just have fun with. I mean, you could, but you're gonna progress in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. What I want to do is I want to progress fast. I'm a content creator, one thing, and I want to start making broader content for you guys. And I can't do that if I'm constantly broke, if I constantly don't have shards, if I constantly don't have good gear, if all my champions are slow, if it takes me 1 month to get a champion from level 50 to level 60, you know, that is my personal reason. But also, I tried it the other way. I tried to just have fun with the game and do things whenever I wanted to, given that I cut myself a lot of slack. And I wasn't playing like I wasn't playing like 8 hours a day type of thing, because I have a life outside of this. But for these 3-4 hours a day that I can spend on Raid, the process should be so streamlined and so matter of hit the dates, hit the hours, hit the events, that there really is no room for improv. And then once I get into endgame and I gather all the resources to the point where I can't physically get rid of them, I can't physically use up all of them, is where the fun starts. And you can actually just sit back and enjoy the game. And when you get a good champion, you can immediately build them, you can immediately level them up. When there's a fusion that you really want, you can immediately get on it and participate in it and know that you've got this. This is the fun of the game. It's not fun when you're struggling. So I hope these tips were helpful, and I will catch you guys again in the next one. Bye!